सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। समस्त जन कल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्। यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः। ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः। So yesterday we saw about the famous verse Yada Yada Hi Dharmasya. Whenever there is a decline of dharma and whenever there is a rise of adharma, at such times the Lord takes manifestation, the Lord takes a form as avatar. The main purpose of his coming is Paritranaya Sadhunam, to protect the good people. We saw that the main purpose of the Lord is not to come to destroy the evil, because evil is such that it can destroy its own self. It is self-destructive. And the more the number of evil people are there, they will destroy each other. For that the Lord doesn't have to come. But if there is one person also, for example Prahlad, genuinely who is wanting to know the truth, wanting to have darshan of the Lord, that person is not able to follow the goodness, follow his or her dharma. To protect such a person, the Lord comes. Same thing you see in Ram Avatar also, that happens when so many rishis, they are not able to practice dharma. They have tried their best, even they have sought the help of the kings and other powerful people who are there, but they are not able to practice. Then the Lord says, then I do come. Now, what exactly is dharma glani? What is the meaning of decline of dharma? And what is the meaning of dharma samsthapana? These two aspects is what we will see today. So first, what is the meaning of the word dharma has to be understood. The word dharma has a lot of meanings. Values, duties, righteousness, different meanings are there for the word dharma. It's one of those words where the English translation is not sufficient to provide for the vast meaning that small simple word encompasses within itself. So literally the word dharma, if you look around this whole universe, you will find that there is a lot of multiplicity, there is a lot of diversity, there are a lot of things in the universe which are there, a lot of variety which is there. At the same time, there is also a harmony which exists. There is a system, there is nature, it is not a chaos. Gurudev used to say the universe is not a chaos, it is a cosmos. There is a rhythm which is pervading this whole universe. The planets rotate in a rhythm, the sun moves in a rhythm, the seasons come, the seasons go. There's a whole rhythm which you find in which the entire universe as though is pulsating. That rhythm of the universe which holds the entire universe together is called as dharma. And whenever one is in tune with that rhythm, one is following dharma. Whenever one is not in tune with that rhythm, then it is adharmic. So the rhythm of the universe, we saw in the 3rd chapter, one of the rhythms of the universe is selflessness and giving. Everything in the universe gives. Giving is a rhythm. Or the moment one starts taking, in the sense nothing wrong in taking, but the moment one starts becoming possessive, greedy, selfish, one has violated that rhythm and one will feel the consequences of that. So that way, the etymological meaning of the word dharma is dharayate iti dharma. That which holds, which integrates, that is called as dharma. Not that which divides. And how sad in today's world, the word dharma has been come to be translated as religion. And in the name of religion, there is so much of division. It is supposed to unite everything. That is called dharma. So what is that which unites everyone, which holds this whole universe together, without which the universe will not be what it is? Think about it. Whether one is a plant, animal or a bird, whether it is a human being, in whichever country, whichever caste, whichever creed, whichever community, whichever country, what is that which holds the entire universe together? Think. Is there something which binds everyone together?
So that energy which, so which makes the rhythm, as you said, now that energy binds everyone.
What is that energy?
Universal consciousness.
So at the subtlest level, yes, you can say universal consciousness, supreme Brahman, agreed. We are talking still at an empirical level. What holds the universe together? Love holds the universe together. Everyone requires love. Everyone wants love. And it's the love which holds everyone together. There are so many people who don't find that love sometimes. So they feel life is meaningless. They even end their life. A small child doesn't know artha, kama, dharma and moksha, but knows love. Love is a universal rhythm of the whole world. A universal rhythm basically, which binds everybody together. When does love arise? The moment there is identification or oneness, love will arise. So two Gujaratis, if they meet each other, immediately, કેમ છો? મજામાં. Straight away they will connect. Because there is oneness suddenly. You go abroad and suddenly you find somebody Indian. Hare. Here so many Indians are there, no value for it. The moment you go abroad, Indian. मेरे देश का कोई तो है. There is oneness. Where there is oneness, there is identification, there is love. And where there is love, there do I want to harm the beloved? I don't want to harm. So I will follow values. I will be righteous, I will be straightforward, I will be honest, I will be loving, I will be compassionate, I will be forgiving. All that will happen. So love, identification or oneness leads to love. Love leads to spontaneous following of values. You don't need rules. Someone said very nicely, if there is no love, rules will not work. By force you cannot make somebody do something. For some time you can, but in the long run you cannot. So if there is no love, rules will not work. And if there is love, rules are not required. So either way, rules are not necessary. But then there is still rules which are to be followed, because we are not in the state where we can spontaneously follow dharma. So in Vedanta or in spirituality or in Dharma Shastra, right and wrong, etc. is given. Because not everybody is capable of this subtle understanding of oneness, that oneness leads to love, that love leads to following of the values. And where I follow those values, I want to do the duty towards the people whom I am loving. If I love my country, I will do my duty. How many of you are registered as voters here? Those who have not registered, please register. It's our duty. Every vote counts. One of the American elections, that person won by one vote, no? Or the president won by one vote. Every vote matters. And if we want our country to improve, this is an opportunity. There is a huge wave across the whole country. It is a time for change now. Register as the voters, and I don't know whether still registrations are open, but one should register and go and vote there. If I love, then I will do my duty. So these are four aspects. Otherwise one can mean dharma means duty, dharma means values, dharma means righteousness. But how are all these connected? When there is vision of oneness, from that vision of oneness is born the sense of love. From that love comes values, from the values come the duties. So when we say that dharma declines, it is not that people have become more corrupt and people are greedy and people are violent and all. That is an effect. What is the cause? Love is not there. Why love is not there? Oneness is not there. If I identify with everyone as a human being, will I be able to do those kind of atrocities that are being committed? I won't do. If I identify with everyone as a living being, I will not eat non-veg food, I will not kill animals, I will not do that kind of a destruction, because I identify that all of us are living beings. That being also goes through pain. So where I see oneness, that this India is my country, then I will have the vision that this is my country. Automatically that love for the country will make me do things. I will not say this is only my state and who cares about India. In that Chak De India movie, that one scene is there. No? Each player comes forward and they are told to introduce themselves. They say, I am so and so from Punjab, I am so and so from Rajasthan, I am so and so from Tamil Nadu. And the coach says, fail, fail, fail. And one person comes up and says, I am so and so from India. That vision of oneness. In a family, if you see, why did the Mahabharata war happen? The vision of oneness, that we all are belonging to one Kuru dynasty, that vision of oneness is gone. So now Pandavas are separate, Kauravas are separate, and the clash happening, fighting happening. Then that is where duties are not followed, each one starts hurting the other, and then values cannot be followed. I will not be compassionate to forgive. Why should I be compassionate? That person did this to me. All these are the effects born from the decline of vision of oneness. So dharma glani means when the vision of oneness declines, even in our own body, if you see, the parts are all different, right? But don't we feel that I am this whole body? Do we ever say that, head is the most important part of the body, I don't care about the food. If the food is injured, doesn't matter, who cares? One will never say that. But this is me. Gurudev Swami Chinmayananda used to give an example. He would say that if your hand by mistake pokes your eye, very painful. Do you say that this is unprovoked aggression and cut that hand, and the hand must deserve punishment so that the other hand knows what it should not do? We never say that. The same hand will go saying, I am sorry, I did not mean this. Suppose somebody says, take a pin, and they say that, tell me in which part of the body should I poke the pin? What will we do? Will we say, if you have to poke, then poke on the leg, poke on the ear? Nothing. And you see, if at all you have to poke on the neighbor, don't poke me. Why? Because that is not me. That is the neighbor, you poke there. So the idea is where there is oneness. In spite of differences, there is oneness. We say, as India, if you say what is so glorious about India, one of the most common statements will be unity in diversity. Where unity, which unity? Now what are we talking about? School textbook answer that is, when I studied, unity in diversity. There is only diversity right now. There is no unity. If the country has to progress, there has to be that unity, the sense of one nation. So dharma glani means that vision of oneness declines. In our children, if we have to do dharma samsthapana, don't teach them only rules. They will rebel. Because at a certain age, once one becomes a teenager, one doesn't want to follow the rules. And says, why should I follow? I will do what I want to do. Dharma samsthapana happens when we do efforts to bring that vision of oneness in the minds of the people, in the minds of our children. That we all are one. At different levels, we all belong to one family. We all belong to one community. We all belong to one state. We belong to one country. We belong to one earth. We all are human beings. We all are living beings. So many levels of oneness can be seen. And the higher the level of oneness one identifies with, the greater is that inspiration in a person. Selfishness can go only where there is love and oneness. There is no other way selfishness can go in life. And just think about it. In the entire universe, it is only the human being who remains selfish. Instinctively, the animals, plants and birds, they identify with oneness at some level or the other. The human being has the choice. And that's where we need to have the right knowledge, that this knowledge of oneness, the more this knowledge of oneness comes to us, the more will be our surrender possible. Oneness even with that supreme truth. That's what Vedanta says. Vedanta does not admit any sense of difference. It says you and God are one. Essentially, we are one with that supreme truth. You and the world are one. Which means what? Which means I am one with all the beings in the universe. Anything that I do affects other people. The entire universe. Why other people? It affects the whole universe. And today we are seeing, the global warming is one of the examples of that. Somewhere some earthquake happens, we can't say that earthquake happened there. It will have global impact. Somebody's economy in some country goes through a crash, we cannot say that it doesn't have an impact on me. So the more and more we identify with the totality, that is called dharma samsthapana. The more identify with smaller part, that is called as dharma glani. And dharma glani always leads to selfishness and greed. That is the effect. So when we do dharma samsthapana, what is the meaning of that dharma samsthapana? Dharma samsthapana comes when we handle the root cause. It doesn't happen by starting a new religion, saying, all the old religions are not having a sense of oneness. You just see that is what has happened in history. Hinduism had so many sects, divided into so many sects. Buddha came up, started a new religion. Where is Buddhism now? Buddhism itself has so many sects now. Because human mind is like that. It always lives in division. It divides everything. So that vision of oneness is what has to come. With our children, when we educate them, at any level one should make them identify with that oneness. And they are available to experience that oneness. Their minds are more pure. available for molding. So within the family, we are one family. That spirit has to come. Competitiveness, the parents themselves start that. That's the difficulty there. Look at your brother, how bright he is. Why should that happen? We all are one family. In spite of the differences, we are one family. That is what has to come in our lives at an individual level. The reason why we are suffering individually also is because in our personality there is division, right? Body is here, mind is somewhere, buddhi is sleeping, soul we don't even know. There is a disintegration between body, mind, intellect. Integration is called yoga. Oneness has to come. The moment that integration happens, that same ordinary, weak, timid individual transforms into a very mighty, powerful individual. All the dormant potential starts manifesting. In a company you will see each department fighting for its own thing. The vision of the company is put aside somewhere. Petty politics takes over. So anywhere, this is a human problem, that it lives in division. So dharma glani means this. Vision of oneness declines, love declines, so then there is selfishness. Once the selfishness is there, values one cannot follow. One will be corrupt, greedy, and then duty one cannot do. That is how the whole culture declines. Now how to re-establish? Not by starting a new religion, not by converting somebody to my religion. All that will not work. Essentially the oneness has to happen. That's why in the Gita you see the Lord, when he gives his knowledge to Arjun, the purpose of the Gita is not to make Arjun fight. The purpose of Gita is to give Arjun that vision of oneness. And based on that vision of oneness, he has to do the duty. Even if it is fighting his own relatives.
How does that work? The vision of oneness making him want to fight, that how does it make him?
Just like in my body, if there is some part which is not, it is cancerous, it is still a part of my body. But I have to take that hard decision of cutting that part. Because if I don't do that, the entire body will be affected. Life itself will be a threat. That's the beauty of the Gita, is that he says, the Lord says in the Gita, that you fight, tato yuddhaya yujyasva, naivam papam avapsasi. You fight because it's your duty to protect dharma. You are not fighting here with that sense of difference, that they are Kauravas, we are Pandavas, and they have done injustice to us, so we are taking revenge. Then he says you will incur sin. But you know that you are here as a Kshatriya to protect dharma, your identification is with that dharma. And when that dharma is violated, people have become selfish to such an extent that they are so blind in their greed. Such a person cannot become the king. The entire praja will suffer, not only for that time, generations after will suffer. So keeping that in mind, you have to still fight, you have to kill these people, but personally you have no hatred against them. You still know that you are belonging to the same family. It's a tough thing to do. That's where the detachment comes in. The moment we get attached, there are two types of oneness, please remember. One is the oneness which one feels, it is apparent oneness when there is attachment. And one is the oneness based on knowledge where there is deep detachment. Where I know what is to be done and I can do it. Emotions don't cover the light of reasoning. In attachment, emotions cover the light of reasoning. And one feels. So Dhritarashtra, loving his son Duryodhan, you may say it is oneness, he is feeling, he is my son. But it is oneness based on attachment. And that attachment is not real oneness, it is only apparent oneness, it is not oneness. Because in oneness, I am not there. Please remember that. There is only one. Two are not there. It's not a question of we both are there, let us see who identifies with whom and who remains. It's not a match, like boxing match, it's not like that. In oneness, the individuality drops and the cause remains. So neither Pandavas nor Kauravas, but the Kuru dynasty, the identification is with that. So I lose my pride as a Pandava, they lose the pride as a Kaurava. Then that is called oneness. It is not a question that let us see, Pandavas, let them give up their pride. I will retain my pride. No, that is not proper. Pandavas don't expect the Kauravas to reply in the same way because that each one will do at their own karma. But the real oneness comes from there. So that attachment based oneness is only apparent oneness. In that selfishness is hidden. Dhritarashtra actually did not love Duryodhana more than himself. That is selfishness. In oneness there is the complete surrender of individual. The cause is more important to me than myself also. So the patriot who is identified with the country is ready to sacrifice anything for the country because I am not more important than my country. That is called oneness, where I lose myself and the cause remains. That is called oneness. Based on that oneness only, and the Lord's purpose of coming in any avatar actually is to establish oneness, to remove differences. That's why one of so many things that Sri Krishna did, traditionally they may not be accepted also. Because orthodoxy has forgotten that vision of oneness. So he came and revived that whole culture by establishing a sense of oneness everywhere. In whole life of Krishna, if you will see, kept on establishing vision of oneness. So oneness based on attachment is apparent oneness, but oneness based on detachment is the real oneness.
There wasn't Bhishma like that?
Bhishma faltered in one place. That's where the difference between Bhishma and Krishna is. Bhishma identified so much with the throne and with his promise that he was bound by that. And he forgot the purpose of dharma. The cause of dharma he forgot. To protect the throne and to be loyal to that king, whoever is on the throne, is not for its own sake, is for the sake of dharma. If that dharma only is violated, what is the point in being loyal to this king? So he got stuck to his vow. So for a lower dharma, he could not, he did not give up the lower dharma for the sake of higher dharma. And Krishna did that. Krishna took a vow that he will not lift the weapons in the war. But when he saw that by keeping up my vow, if dharma only is going to get violated, then there is no point. So when on the 9th day, when Arjun and Bhishma were fighting, and that Arjun was not putting his best, and one arrow of Bhishma was hit by him in such a way that it would have hit Arjun straight here and Arjun would have died. Bhagwan made the horses duck, so that arrow hit the crown and fell down. Krishna got angry. He jumped out of the chariot, lifted a wheel, and he charged at Bhishma. That is where we say that if you want to understand dharma, you understand Krishna, you will understand dharma completely. Dharma is not only some rule books. Dharma is the spirit, that essence of oneness. That when that dharma was being compromised, Krishna said, if my vow is broken, doesn't matter. Dharma has to get protected. I will face the consequence of breaking my vow. But if dharma is not protected, if Bhishma survives, you just think Pandavas fought for 10 days because Bhishma was alive. After Bhishma fell, in 8 days the entire war got over. So that is where the individuality is, that Bhishma got stuck there. Krishna was beyond all those. So he knew exactly when to give up the lower dharma for the higher dharma. One should know that very clearly. So many times one comes into under the emotional pressure. That is where that attachment is.
When Draupadi's Vastraharan was happening, that time all the Kurus did not follow the dharma. You could say that.
Collective failure of dharma.
Collective failure.
What is happening in the country? Collective failure of dharma. That is where the problem comes. And that is why Draupadi gave that curse. She cursed Dhritarashtra and that entire Kaurava Kuru dynasty, saying that the modesty of a woman is not protected here. Let everything get destroyed. And Gandhari was so scared of that curse. Before Draupadi could pronounce that curse, Gandhari said, please stop. And she told Dhritarashtra that give back everything. What you have done is not appropriate at all. And if this curse comes upon you, your whole dynasty will get destroyed. So Dhritarashtra returns everything to the Pandavas. Everything. So first time when they lost everything and this whole Vastraharan and all that happened, at the end of it, Pandavas got back everything because of Draupadi. Again they lost it. That was the sad part.
Swami, oneness is a beautiful concept. Oneness increases coordination, increases productivity, as you said, body, mind, intellect, department, organization. There are enough studies to show that even the best organizations in the world, the productivity is not more than 10%. So, how do you get this dispassionate oneness to get people to work together? Because
That's
Krishna
where one
talks
says that one
Krishna
has
not
to.
about the troops, and how do you build meritocracy into it?
No, that's where the idea is that the vision is more important than the individual. It cannot happen through an overnight change. It has to happen when the whole society's different parts come together. In the education, what are we teaching? Each one is being taught to be selfish. Change has to happen from there. Because the person who comes up to the top there, learning about selfishness and paying so much donation, has to get that money back, and all that when one does, he is not going to bother about which company, what is the vision, service to society, all that. So it has to change in education, it has to change in the media, it has to change in the very vision that that company has, that are we here only to make profit? Bottom line ultimately is what? Is it only money and profit, or is it genuine service?
Our
So-
education system is completely changed. It's the Western thing that our children are following, right?
So everything, it's not about Western and Eastern, it's about all the parts of the society coming together in a family also. Even if you leave education aside, how much in the family is there a vision of oneness? From joint family we have come to nuclear family. From nuclear family we have come to atomic family. I don't know then what electron family will come next. पता नहीं क्या हो जाएगा अभी. Proton family, neutron family, electron family, string family, quartz family. Where are we heading? More and more division. Everywhere, society, media-wise. In the society, in the media, in the education system, in the homes, everywhere. Entertainment, how much division is created because of that also. See, plurality will exist. Nobody can deny plurality. That's why the example of the body is given. The hand will be separate from the leg will be separate from the head. There is no question in that. But is not there sense of oneness is there in the attitude? That has to come. It will take time. Dharma samstapana is not an overnight process. It takes time to re-establish dharma.
How is oneness different from communism? Because there is no meritocracy there.
A lot of difference there. Communism, there is no concept of oneness. God, reality, higher truth is not there.
But everybody is equal.
It's more fear.
Everybody is equal, but if communism was so successful, it should have been successful. Everywhere it has failed. Everywhere. Why has it failed? Because the meritocracy, when it is not there, automatically it is an idealistic vision to say that all of us will work and everybody will share the benefit equally. But it will not work because somebody who is lazy and somebody is working very hard, so the person is going to question that what is this now? So it will fail everywhere. Meritocracy does not deny or destroy oneness? Please think.
Okay.
Because this is the digital age.
Huh?
So, digital age.
Digital
They are
age.
dividing gradually. The influence is all over the world.
It depends on our vision. It's not about digital age. Even in digital age, there is oneness. You see the youngsters, how much they are identified with that Facebook,
Yeah,
how
in
much they do on
In
Facebook.
that respect, there is a oneness.
You see, there is a oneness. So it's not about digital age कि आज अभी digital age आया इसीलिए difference है. No. It's about the complete mindset. That how we are living, are we encouraging oneness? In Mumbai only you will see, baapare, how much of division. There are a lot of funny cartoons which come, One of the cartoons said, if I go to Chembur, will there be roaming charges applied on me? Because people in the city think that where Chembur, somewhere it is some far. Dahisar, if you say it is as though going to some far away country only. Where is Dahisar? Somewhere there it is Dahisar. Forget all that. In this part of the city only, South Bombay only, Cup Parade people will not come to Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan. बहुत दूर है, बहुत दूर है.
Because of traffic.
That we understand, there is no question about that. But I am just saying, even when traffic is not there, sometimes one. So, geographically and functionally and all, there will be always the differences. But that sense of oneness must pervade, that we all belong to one city. At different levels, the oneness must be there. So that is called Dharma Samsthapana. And each one here can be responsible to instill this sense of Dharma. Dharma Samsthapana is not done by one avatar. We Hindus have a big problem. कोई आएगा, कुछ करेगा, हम क्या कर सकते हैं, मैं तो एक छोटा इंडिविजुअल हूँ, मेरे से क्या होगा, मैं तो आम आदमी हूँ. अभी तो आम आदमी का जमाना आ गया. Suddenly, no. After some time, आम आदमी will become बेनाम आदमी. और क्या? I don't know, again same thing. Who am I? What can I do? The system is too powerful. One keeps cribbing. Somebody will come and change it, then we will follow. That's the mindset one has. But each one, especially the mothers, have such a great responsibility. One Jijabai created a Shivaji, made him proud of his culture, made him stand up for his culture. Vivekananda's mother. Silent contribution of all these women, that how they have created these leaders. Gandhiji himself, how much the mother has helped Gandhiji to focus on the truth. And when he went abroad, how much he was told by the mother about the culture there, about how he has to be steadfast in his dharma and all lot of things. So each one can play a lot of role in establishing dharma, in establishing a sense of oneness. The word dharma unnecessarily has been translated today as religion. So one keeps on saying, I am spiritual, I am not religious. But dharma is about principles of oneness, which helps us to rise above selfishness. One part of dharma is the rituals. Now we don't want to do rituals at all. Only philosophy one wants to live. It is not possible. Every science has pure science and applied science. Rituals are the applied science. When I sit down and do that puja or do a havan or do a mantra japa, then I realize that what is the concept of totality, what is the concept of God, how do I connect. Yesterday we spoke about these 4 or 5 different concepts of God, right? Brahman, Ishvara, Avatar, then comes the Ishtadevata. How will that concept internalize in me till I don't sit down and try to withdraw the attention, try to invoke devotion, try to surrender? It won't happen only. I can keep reading enough and more books. Intellectually I may say oneness, but heart will be completely selfish. That is the reason why we suffer. We don't suffer because of lack of knowledge, please. We suffer because of lack of selflessness. That's why we suffer, because lack of oneness. So when people say in India there is so much of knowledge, why are we still suffering? Because knowledge is there, but it has not transformed my heart. Even that knowledge today has become perverted. The right knowledge which should be there about oneness, that is not there. So Dharma Samsthapana is doing the three aspects. Have the right vision of oneness, have selflessness in the heart, and serve the society. These three when we do, no, then Dharma Samsthapana happens. And Bhagavan Krishna did all the three. Any master would have done all the three. Vivekananda ji, did he not do that? 8 years time. What selflessness, my God. Buddha, how much of compassion and selflessness. Mahavir, each one. That is called Dharma Samsthapana. If it is only at intellectual level, it is not Dharma Samsthapana. Intellectually, even scientists knows that everything is atom. What difference does it make? Intellectually, we all know everything is same energy. What difference does it make? It doesn't touch my heart. But when I transform at the heart level, when I feel that oneness, it's not about knowing oneness, it's about feeling oneness. Spirituality is not in the realm of intellectual logic, it is in the realm of feeling and experience. What I feel, according to that will be my experience. So that's why we do some of these camps which are called outdoor experiential learning. So if we have to teach about fear management, you can teach in the class. Another is you can make them do. Take them to the top of the mountain, tell them to rappel down from there. It's an interesting exercise which we do. If you want to try how fearless you are, you try. Simple exercise. Light one candle, take a ball of cotton, small this much. Put it in that fire, it will burn, na? Put it in your mouth. क्या होगा? आपका मुंह जल जाएगा? That is what logic says. Do it, you will see the difference. कुछ नहीं होगा. If anybody wants to try tomorrow after that 8:30 class is over, I am not joking. We make the youngsters do it and they enjoy it. It's all intellectual. We don't live in the realm of heart. We may say I am fearless. क्या maximum क्या होगा? अगर आपका मुंह जल गया तो क्या होगा क्या? 2 दिन खा नहीं पाओगे, अच्छा है. Weight will reduce. वैसे भी weight reduce करना होता है सबको. It's all intellectualizing fear. Take it and put. Once you put now, you will take 1, 2, 3, 4. You will enjoy it. I am telling you. अरे मैं आपको सच कह रहा हूँ. I have seen youngsters doing it. Ankita, I want that video tomorrow.
I have it right.
You have it right now?
On the phone.
It's on the phone. Jagdish is there? Okay. Fine, we'll show it tomorrow, na? We'll transfer it. Tomorrow I will show you the video.
That day I had done it.
Arey Baba, that is okay. We need to show them videos because they are scared. You see that? Tap, tap, tap. Some of the youngsters they take and tap, tap, tap. They keep putting. Nothing will happen. But it's all intellectual. एक दिन पूरा शरीर जलने वाला है. पूरा शरीर ऐसे का ऐसा. उस समय क्या करें? We are not there. Don't be under that misimpression. You are going to watch that body burning. It's not that I am not going to be there. Death means what? You just drop the body, mind, intellect remains, and you watch. Arey, body jal gaya. It is a fact. Am I even prepared for that final journey? 100% tomorrow, half of you are not going to. हमें इतने डरावनी चीजें करा रहे हैं, क्या बोल रहे हैं, हमारे मुंह में गोला डाल देंगे. But come and see that. Hardly nothing it happened. My point of saying this was that it's all, we intellectualize so much. We live in that intellectual realm. Half of our confusions are because of that. So Dharma Samsthapana happens at all the three levels. Let there be vision of oneness, and that oneness must translate into love for people, for things, for beings. That knowledge then has gone from head into heart. And when there is oneness, I will serve. Spontaneously I will serve. The mother serves the child spontaneously. Never ask the child that I did this for you, pay me this much money. That whole story is there, no? That one story is there of this small child who went to that market and came back and then submitted a bill to the mother that, I went to market, then I got this, then I cleaned the house, so for this 2 rupees, for this 5 rupees, for this 10 rupees. But the guy wanted pocket money. He could have straight away asked the pocket money. He made a bill and he gave it. Mother was also smart. The next day she also wrote, for bearing you 9 months in the stomach, no charge. For bearing all your kicks in the stomach, no charge. For keeping up late in the night when you are crying as a cranky kid, no charge. Then that fellow realized, oh God, what did I do? So the point is that oneness when it comes.
There's one major debate which is, sent to England and all. A lot of people must have read it. Where, they have compared that in the Western world, where it is Bill Gates or Warren Buffett, the amount of charity they do. And he's saying, we Hindus think so much of our personal moksha all the time. Kuch bhi karo, iska punya lagega, mujhe lagega. We don't do charity like you're saying, we don't serve with that same feeling, or where we want to serve the community, or whatever you say, humanity. Saying, why is that not instilled in us?
Because
in spite of having the kind of, the lot of industrialists, rich people, everybody in our country. But look at the level of charity, look at what they do.
So there are different reasons for that also. One is that sense of identification doesn't come. Second is, today in our country also there are industrialists who are doing now. That vision of oneness is not enough. And second is, at that scale, suddenly they may not be doing, but they are continuously doing that at a different scale. Reaching out to different organizations, different sections of the society. That is one. Also, that one of the reasons, even in that debate, if you see, one of the reasons they would have given there is that Indians are more family oriented. So they believe in leaving it for the next generation, which is not there in the West. That culture is not there. Even Bill Gates, he said, I'll give this much amount to my children. They have to build it on their own. So there are very many reasons in that why it happens.
Announce it and make a big thing about the way Indians, like the way the rest.
Yeah, many times they do it silently also, and they are doing. Many of them are doing. More could be done, but we don't even know. See, sometimes the pressures in India are very different. Government takes away certain amount of taxes and whatever. There are lots of things. Social stigma is too much there. All that I don't know about the West, so I can't comment because I have never been there. But to a certain extent, I feel that there are many such reasons why this must be happening. And today there are, unfortunately, it has happened in that way, but doesn't matter. Still, it has happened that some meeting last year only where Bill Gates had come, or I think Bill Gates only came. Yeah, he came, and then top industries were sitting, and then together they had they pledged a certain amount for whatever cause. I don't know what cause. But I mean, we don't need somebody from out to come and say, but okay, doesn't matter. Even if that is happening, at least the good of the humanity or the cause is happening.
Is it we misunderstand when we are understanding our own book, our own?
We are not looking at our books. That is the sad part.
Personal moksha or whatever which comes through.
Tell me how many industrialists would actually be studying their own culture. You can count them on fingertips. And even if one studies the culture, this vision of oneness as described in the Gita or Vedanta, that is not there. One is happy to belong to a ritualistic part. Saying कि हमने इतने यज्ञ करा दिए, हमने इतना दान करा दिया, हमने इतना कथा करवा दिया, इतना भागवत किसी के नाम पे करवा दिया. Which is one level, which is fine, let that happen. But the intellectual, what we are talking, that intellectual vision of oneness seeping into the heart and then manifesting through service, that requires time and commitment to study, to feel. That is why that spiritual knowledge is the need of the hour, which integrates everybody. Unfortunately, that is named as religion, not required right now. A lot of false notions are there for it. So Dharma Samstapana happens at these three levels. Let there be vision of oneness, let there be feeling of oneness, and let there be action. At any level. Every day can I do one thing with the feeling of oneness. That is a Gita in practice. Can I identify with something where I feel one? Maybe if I am watering a plant, can I feel the oneness with that plant? If I am talking to somebody, can I feel genuinely that that person also is a human being? Can I look at that person without labels, just as a human being? Practice of oneness is not after you attain realization. It can be done at any moment. If there is a conflict in the family, can I say that what can I do to ensure that this vision of oneness is there from my side, where I drop my prejudice, my wrong notions, and I say, okay, let go, and then see that how we all are one. At any level. Share the food with somebody. In our culture, if you see, that vision of oneness was ingrained in our life through different aspects. Before I eat food, I have to keep these three things aside. If you see, I means not I, but any individual. So one morsel for the crow, one morsel for the dog, one morsel for the cow. The vision of oneness comes there. They are also living beings. It can be done mechanically also, and it can be done with that vision of oneness. That this food that I am eating, this food is going to become one with me. My body is made up of the food. It is sustained by the food. It will go back to the food. And this food which has come is the manifestation of the Lord only. I should not waste food. Annam brahmeti vyajanat. One should know food as Brahman, as the Lord. So that is the vision of oneness. In this tomorrow's verse it will come that how we chant before the food, we chant Brahmarpanam Brahmavihi Brahmagno Brahmana Hutam. That the food is Brahman, the eater is Brahman, the act of eating is Brahman, the fire in the belly is Brahman, everything is Brahman, is one. So the more I see, there are lots of opportunities through the day to practice the vision of oneness. When I am doing the puja, one can feel that I am one with the Lord, or I am one with all the devotees in the world. I can send out, I am one with the whole universe. I can send out vibrations of love, happiness, forgiveness to everybody. That's why we say every time we conclude, we say Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina, Sarve Santu Niramaya. May everybody be happy, may everybody be free from diseases. That is oneness. That's why in our culture we say that Indian culture is the one which has given to the world the entire concept of the whole world is one global family. Much before globalization even came, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam was the concept given by the Indians to the whole world. That we all belong to one family. Whatever we do will affect everyone. I'll end with this experiment which was done. This. So there are some monkeys in America, and these monkeys were taken from America and left in Africa. And in America, they did some operation or whatever they did, and they changed the genes of some of these monkeys in America, so that their behavior pattern and the response pattern changed. And do you know, after a few years, they found that what response pattern change was exhibited in the monkeys in America was reflected in the monkeys in Africa also, without any connection. And do you know what did they conclude? That entire research for about 10-12 years, the entire research concluded that there is something called universal monkey consciousness. You go and do the research, you will find it's there, documented. So they said that there is one universal monkey consciousness to which all these monkeys are connected, and what the behavioral change was then in these monkeys there went to that universal consciousness, and from there it came to these monkeys here. Which is what we are saying is the human mind and this entire living realm and the non-living realm. All of them are connected together, which is what we say in Vedanta as the Virat. This is the Virat Swarupa Bhagavan. That anything that we do in any part of the globe will affect anybody. That's why that poem, Robert Frost, he said, you cannot touch a flower without affecting a star. Where is the flower, where is the star? No connection. But he said you cannot touch a flower without affecting a star. When oneness is there. In the whole universe there is oneness. That's why absolute truth is one. Forms can be many. Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh and so many others. These are all functional divisions. But absolute truth is only one. Right, so for today we stop here. Huh? And that's okay, we'll show. But this all, Jagdish is not there, no? This connection and all is difficult right now. So we'll see tomorrow. You give it to me, I'll show it here. So we have two camps for children. One camp is called Smart Indian Camp. We just spoke about India so much. It's based on the 14th chapter of the Gita, which speaks about Sattva, Rajas and Tamas and how to increase the Sattva. So through that one becomes smart, and also the theme is of patriotism. So this is for the age group of 9 to 12, and this camp is from 25th April to 27th April. It's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's a non-residential camp. And here only in Shantivan, in Malvar Hill. And another camp is called Fun Kids Camp. So Fun Kids means what? K is for cool communicator, I is for intelligence, D is for dynamism, S is for strength and surrender. So through the life of Hanumanji, based on the brilliant life of Hanumanji, this camp is being done. This is for age group of 5 to 8 years. And this is 18th to 20th April, weekend before this. Both these camps are at Shantivan. I will be taking both these camps along with the Balvihar Sevikas and our Yuva Veers who are there. So please take these and encourage as many children as possible to come and register. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.